Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something that's changing how basically every business deals with you. Customer Experience Management, CEM. We've been poring over this really comprehensive market outlook report. It covers the global CEM market, giving us a clear view from 2021, projecting all the way out to 2033. So our mission here is to pull out the key insights. Understand where CEM is now, where it's headed, and importantly, what's driving all this pretty incredible growth. We want you to walk away informed, ready to spot the trends.
Absolutely. And it's more than just like software, right? CEM. Fundamentally, it's about strategy. It's businesses investing and investing heavily in the tools, the platforms, the data, all aimed at creating these really seamless, personalized, data-driven customer journeys. Think about the last time something just worked online, or maybe how your streaming service just seems to get you, that CEM in action. It's about making every touch point count, which is frankly table stakes now for any business that wants to compete.
Okay, so let's paint that big picture first, globally. The numbers are, well, they're pretty staggering. Back in 2021, the market was valued at just over, what, $9 billion?
That's right, 9,067.29 million to be exact.
Right. Now look ahead to 2025, which is, practically tomorrow. The projection jumps to nearly $14.5 billion.
$14,351.3 million.
Getting close.
But here's the kicker. By 2033, they're forecasting this market to hit almost $36 billion.
Yeah, 35,951.7 million. It's massive.
That's like a fourfold increase in about 12 years, an average growth rate, a CAGR, of over 12% per year. What on earth is fueling that kind of acceleration?
Well, it really boils down to a couple of key things. First, us. Our expectations as customers, they're just constantly rising, aren't they?
Definitely. We want everything personalized, instant, smooth, especially as we live more and more through digital channels. So businesses get it. The product alone isn't enough anymore. The experience is the differentiator. And second, they're seeing the payback. There's a clear return on investment. Yeah. Better experience means more loyalty. Customers stick around longer. They spend more. It's shifted from a sort of nice extra to absolutely essential for business.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, massive global growth.
Yeah.
But is it happening everywhere equally? Or are there some maybe surprising hotspots? Let's dig into the regions, starting with North America, always a tech giant, still leading the pack.
North America is definitely still a huge piece of the pie. It's about $3.6 billion back in 2021, and it's projected to grow to nearly $14 billion by 2033.
Wow.
And yeah, the U.S. is the main driver there, no surprise.
Yeah.
Expected to hit over $11 billion itself.
Okay.
But what's interesting is the growth rate elsewhere. Canada, for instance, is growing faster. Percentage-wise, its CAGR is over 12.6%. Mexico, too, even slightly higher at 12.7%.
So it's not just the U.S. driving it all, it's continent-wide adoption.
Exactly. Businesses across the board seem to be recognizing the need.
Okay, let's hop over to Europe. How does it compare? Is it more mature, steady growth, or are there dynamic pockets there too?
Europe's definitely a strong market, growing from around $2.6 billion to almost $10 billion by 2033. So it's still very significant growth, around 11.7% CAGR overall.
And the big players, Germany, UK.
Yep, Germany and the UK are major contributors. Germany's projected to reach over $1.5 billion, the UK over $1.1 billion. Solid numbers.
But any standouts?
Well, France actually shows a slightly faster growth path. Its CAGR is up over 13%.
Okay.
But here's a really interesting bit. The report lumps together the rest of Europe, and that category actually has the highest EAGR in Europe, over 13.2%.
Huh. So the combined power of the smaller, maybe less saturated markets.
It certainly suggests that, doesn't it? It implies really broad adoption, maybe even faster in places that aren't the traditional huge economies. It raises questions about where the innovation is bubbling up.
That is interesting. Okay, now you mentioned momentum, and the report specifically calls out Asia-Pacific as the momentum leader globally. What's happening there? Why is APAC growing so fast?
Yeah, APAC is really the one to watch. It's projected to explode from roughly $1.7 billion to over $7.5 billion by 2033. That's the highest regional KGR we see anywhere, almost 13.5%.
And the reason?
It seems to be a combination of factors. You have huge populations rapidly going digital, often leapfrogging older tech straight to mobile first, fewer legacy systems maybe, plus a massive growing consumer base demanding better digital experiences.
Makes sense. Who leads within APAC?
China is the largest market there, projected to hit over $2.1 billion. Japan's not far behind, around $1.5 billion, both growing strongly, around 13% CAGR.
Okay, solid. But you said APAC was the momentum leader.
Right, and here's where it gets really fascinating. Look at India. Its projected CAGR is a stunning 14.6%. It's forecast across $1.25 billion.
Wow.
And then there's Singapore, even higher, a CGR of over 15%. Plus, Southeast Asia as a whole also showing impressive growth around 14.8%.
So these aren't just catching up, they're actually setting the pace globally in some cases.
That's exactly it. It's a major shift. They're adopting and innovating in CEM at an incredible rate.
Truly remarkable. Okay, shifting continents again, South America. Are we seeing similar high growth patterns there?
We are, yes. South America is also showing really strong growth, projected to go from about $616 million up to nearly $2.7 billion. That's a CAGR of over 13.2%.
Pretty impressive. Brazil leading.
Brazil's the biggest market, yeah, heading towards $1 billion. But again, look at the growth rates. Argentina and Colombia both have projected CAGRs over 14%.
So widespread digital transformation happening there too.
Seems like it. Businesses are clearly investing fast to meet those demands.
All right, finally, let's touch on the Middle East and Africa. Emerging opportunities, the report says. How do they fit in?
They're smaller markets overall, yes, but definitely important growth areas. The Middle East is forecast to grow from around $335 million to over $1.15 billion. Key players there are Saudi Arabia and the UAE, with the UAE showing strong growth around 11.8% CAGR.
Okay. And Africa.
Africa's projected path is from about $190 million to nearly $800 million. And interestingly, its overall CAGR matches the global average around 12.1%.
Really? So keeping pace with the world average?
Exactly. Nigeria and South Africa are the main contributors mentioned, driving that growth. It just underlines that digital shift and rising consumer power are truly global phenomena now. So pulling it all together, the big story is this remarkable, pervasive global growth in CEM. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think the most striking theme is how these developing regions, APAC, South America, parts of Africa, they aren't just following along. They're often posting the highest growth rates. They're really leading the charge in many ways.
Yeah, that leapfrogging effect you mentioned. So bring it back home. What does all this mean for businesses, but also crucially for you listening? Because this isn't just market data, right? It's changing how companies interact with us. It boils down to this relentless focus on digital transformation, on making things incredibly personal, and on ensuring customer satisfaction. And it's happening across all sorts of sectors: banking, retail, healthcare, telecom. You name it. This isn't just a minor tweak, it's a fundamental shift in how businesses operate and how they see their relationship with you, fueled by data and this drive to understand your entire journey. So, to wrap up, the customer experience management market is booming globally. It's driven by deep shifts in how businesses need to engage. And maybe the biggest takeaway, emerging economies are often setting the pace in this transformation.
And that leaves us with something to think about. Given this intense focus on creating personalized, data-driven journeys, what comes next? What new frontiers will companies explore to understand and serve you even better in the coming years? And maybe more profoundly, what does this relentless quest for the perfect customer relationship mean for things like our privacy, or even how we define trust between us and the brands we interact with every single day?
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to bring you the sharpest, most actionable insights. Today, we're really getting into customer experience management, or CEM. Not just, what it is, but why it's become this strategic battleground for business success right now. Think of this as your essential guide. It's fundamentally reshaping how companies connect with customers. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, we absolutely should, because CEM isn't just a support function anymore, not by a long shot. It's really transformed into a significant competitive differentiator. With customer expectations, well, they're soaring globally, and digital channels are evolving so fast. How well you manage that whole customer experience, that's really where businesses win or lose these days. So yeah, in this deep dive, we'll explore the market forces, the real hurdles companies are facing, and some pretty transformative future trends too.
It really feels like customer expectations have just gone kind of parabolic recently. What, for you, are the fundamental shifts really driving this intense focus on customer experience right now? Here's where it gets really interesting.
Well, what's fascinating, I think, is how economically compelling these drivers are. Take the increased emphasis on customer retention and loyalty. We all know retention's important, right? But did you know boosting retention by just 5%, that can increase profits anywhere from 25% to, believe it or not, 95%.
Wow. That's staggering.
It really is. That's the kind of financial impact CEM is having. And these tools are instrumental. They let businesses capture really valuable feedback, analyze interactions across Well, every platform, the website, app, social, chat, and then personalized communications based on that. This isn't just about, saving a few quid anymore. It's about driving serious growth by boosting satisfaction, loyalty, and that all-important customer lifetime value. We're seeing it adopted everywhere. Retail, banking, healthcare, telecoms, they're all in.
Okay, that's a powerful argument for the bottom line, definitely. Beyond that clear financial incentive, what else is really fueling this massive growth?
Well, that focus on loyalty, it naturally leads us to how loyalty is built and maintained now, which brings in digital transformation and this rise of omni-channel engagement. Just think about how complex modern customer journeys have become. You might start on a website, then use a mobile app, interact on social media, maybe use a chatbot, perhaps even walk into a store.
Right, it's all over the place.
Exactly. And the real game changer here is how CEM platforms are crucial for knitting all of those touch points together. They manage, monitor, and optimize every single interaction, often in real time. They make sure that, whether you start on your phone and finish in person, the experience feels seamless, integrated, and it allows for personalization at a scale that just wasn't possible before.
Hmm. That brings us squarely to the technology then. How is this data-driven decision-making, and especially the integration of artificial intelligence, how's that really supercharging things?
Yeah, good question. This is where businesses are moving beyond just reacting. Modern CEM platforms are increasingly using real-time data and AI to deliver predictive experiences,
Mhm.
contextual ones.
Predictive. How so?
So we're talking about capabilities like real-time sentiment analysis. Think of it like your brand's emotional radar, instantly picking up customer feelings from reviews, social media, everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Or detailed journey mapping, seeing exactly where customers struggle or succeed, and even behavioral forecasting, all powered by AI and machine learning. These technologies let organizations actually preempt issues, sometimes weeks ahead.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they can proactively engage customers, maybe win them back before they even think about leaving, and of course, fine-tune all their messaging for maximum impact. It's pretty powerful stuff.
So, okay, we've painted this picture of immense opportunity. Companies predicting needs, personalizing at scale. But like any cutting-edge tech, the path to CEM mastery, well, it's not exactly smooth sailing, is it? What are some of the toughest hurdles businesses are actually facing in this market?
You're absolutely right. It's definitely not without its dragons, as you say. One of the biggest restraints, honestly, is the sheer cost, implementation, and integration. Deploying a proper end-to-end CEM solution. It requires substantial investment, not just the software license, but infrastructure, comprehensive staff training, often extensive customization to make it fit.
Right, it's not just plug and play.
Not at all. And then you get to integrating it with existing legacy systems, things like their CRM, customer relationship tools,
Yeah.
or their ERP systems for core business processes. It's often like trying to connect, well, your brand new smartphone to an old dial-up modem.
Huh, okay. I get the picture.
The systems just don't speak the same language easily. It
Yeah.
becomes this complex, costly digital translation project. And this is a particularly high barrier for small and mid-sized businesses. Plus, the ongoing maintenance costs can really add up and strain budgets.
Okay, so cost and complexity are major factors. Beyond those engineering challenges, what about the data itself? You mentioned collecting all this customer information for personalization. What specific concerns does that raise for CEM?
Data privacy and security. That's a critical point here, and it's a real tightrope walk. CEM strategies, by their nature, rely on collecting and analyzing huge amounts of customer data. That's how personalization works.
Sure.
But that immediately raises compliance flags and, frankly, trust issues. You have strict regulations now, like GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California. Businesses have to tread incredibly carefully. Getting it wrong means facing serious legal risks, not to mention potentially massive reputational damage.
A big risk.
Definitely. So the challenge is finding that delicate balance, right? How do you maximize the value you get from personalization while strictly maintaining ethical data practices, ensuring compliance, and keeping that customer trust? One misstep can erode years of goodwill.
So high cost, complex integration, navigating these privacy minefields. What about the human element? Is talent a major bottleneck here?
It absolutely is. There's a notable shortage of skilled professionals and, frankly, adequate training. To really use these powerful CEM platforms effectively, you need people with expertise in analytics, a deep understanding of customer behavior, omnichannel marketing strategies.
Right, it's a specialized skill set.
It really is. And unfortunately, there's a significant gap between the demand for that talent and the actual availability. So many companies, they actually struggle to interpret the rich customer insights these systems generate, or they don't know how to apply them strategically. And compounding this problem is just how fast CEM technology itself is evolving. It demands continuous learning, continuous upskilling.
So the tools are getting smarter, but people need to keep up.
Exactly. Without a well-trained team, businesses risk seriously underutilizing these expensive platforms. And consequently, they fail to realize the full return on their investment. It's not just about buying the software. You need people who know how to drive the thing.
Okay, so those are some significant hurdles: cost, data, skills. But despite those, the future of CEM looks incredibly dynamic, doesn't it? Let's maybe shift gears a bit. Let's focus on the more optimistic side, the transformative trends shaping what's next for customer experience management.
Yeah, definitely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the accelerating adoption of AI and automation is certainly right at the forefront. We're seeing more and more examples like AI-powered chatbots that can handle routine queries with honestly surprising nuance now. Automated sentiment analysis providing those real-time emotional insights we talked about, and sophisticated workflow triggers that automate responses or actions based on customer behavior.
Making things faster.
Faster, yes, but also smarter. These tools aren't just about efficiency, though that's part of it. They significantly enhance responsiveness, they reduce operational costs, and crucially, they enable hyper-personalization at a scale that was just, well, unimaginable a few years ago. It's kind of like having a customer service rep who remembers every single past conversation and knows exactly what you'll ask next. That's the dream, isn't it?
It really is. So AI is making things faster, more personal. What about how businesses are actually gathering and maybe more importantly, leveraging customer feedback these days?
Ah, good point. That brings us neatly to the increased use of voice of the customer analytics. Strode. Businesses are now capturing feedback through this incredibly diverse range of channels. You've got the traditional surveys, sure, but also social listening platforms, mining conversations online, analyzing live chat interactions, digging into online review platforms like Trustpilot or Google Reviews.
So pulling it all together.
Exactly. The breakthrough is how modern CEM tools can integrate all this disparate data, pull it into one place, and use it to uncover customer pain points, the specific things that frustrate them or maybe delight them. This isn't just about identifying problems anymore. It's about using that insight to enhance service delivery, maybe even innovate product development based on real, unsolicited customer needs. It really reflects a broader shift towards truly active listening, becoming genuinely customer-centric.
Okay, active listening powered by tech. Makes sense. And finally, how are these solutions actually being deployed? Is there a particular model that's gaining momentum, perhaps one that helps address some of those earlier challenges like cost and integration?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
There's huge momentum right now behind cloud-based CEM solutions.
Ah, the cloud, of course.
Yeah, these platforms offer some incredible advantages. Scalability is a big one. You can grow or shrink as needed. Flexibility, real-time access,
Hmm.
which is ideal for remote teams, global enterprises operating across different time zones,
Right, much more adaptable.
much more. And crucially, cloud-based systems generally enable much more seamless integration with existing CRMs, ERPs, other enterprise systems. They make it easier to get that holistic 360-degree customer view, without the heavy infrastructure costs and complexity that often came with traditional on-premise systems. They're really democratizing access to advanced CEM capabilities, making it feasible for more businesses.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Let's try and wrap this up. The customer experience management market is, well, it's undeniably thriving, no question. It's being driven by massive digital transformation, incredible data innovation, and those ever-rising customer expectations we talked about. And while challenges around, costs, compliance, finding the right talent, they definitely persist. But the evolution of AI, sophisticated voice of the customer analytics, and these flexible cloud solutions, they're opening up entirely new possibilities for organizations everywhere. It feels like it's really shifted from a nice to have to a strategic imperative.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, investing in CEM today isn't just about, say, better service in the short term, or even just boosting those profit margins, so that's important. It's fundamentally about long-term sustainable growth. It's about achieving real competitive differentiation in crowded markets. And it's about building lasting emotional connections with your customers, which is harder but much more valuable. It's truly an investment in the future of how businesses will interact with the people who matter most to them. shaping loyalty in a really profound way.
Exactly. A profound shift. So for you, our listener, maybe something to think about. What stands out to you about your own recent customer experiences, good or bad? And knowing what we've discussed, how do these insights on CMM maybe change how you think about them? Something to mull over.